We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions Edition as Carolina wins for the first time since Thanksgiving. This has been a tough couple weeks for the Heels, but they look good today, topping Georgia Tech in the Smith Center 75-59. I'm Jones Angell. That's Adam Lucas. And Adam, number one, felt good just to have Carolina win the game, but the Tar Heels just looked more like the Tar Heels. And it wasn't a perfect performance by any stretch, but they looked much more like the team you expected to see this year from Carolina.
As you'll hear from both Hubert Davis and Armando Bacot, it just looked like Carolina basketball. The Tar Heels dominated the glass. They pushed the ball in transition. They used good judgment between shooting and passing. They made the extra pass, and as Hubert Davis likes to say, went from good to great offense. And they defended well enough to beat Georgia Tech, and that all adds up to the first ACC win of the year, which is exactly what Carolina needed on Saturday afternoon.
Fifth time since the year 2000, Adam, that Carolina's had two guys have 20 or more points and 10 or more rebounds. So if you didn't watch the game, you'd say, oh, wow, Armando Bacot and Pete Nance had a big day. Not that Pete Nance had a bad game, but he is not one of these two. Bacot had 21 points and 13 rebounds. But Adam, R.J. Davis, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Thought it was his best performance of the season, and I don't even think it's close.
And he got those 22 points on 8 of 13 shooting. So he was incredibly efficient. He made good decisions. He got the ball up the court quickly. That was the version of R.J. Davis that everyone thought Carolina was going to get after watching him this summer, because that honestly is how he looked almost every single day.
Carolina also effectively using the bench: Seth Trimble, Puff Johnson, Tyler Nickel, and Jalen Washington getting into the game for the first time. A really talented young player, has battled injuries, has not played in more than a year. So really excited to see him play the last couple minutes of this game as well. As Adam alluded to, let's get to our interviews. I talked to Hubert Davis. Adam talked to Armando Bacot. We'll see and hear both of those conversations, and then we'll come back and get you set for the upcoming week with the Tar Heels. Carolina beats Georgia Tech here on the Carolina Insider. Yeah, thank you, Dave. Indeed, inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner, alongside the head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis. And, Coach, I think first and foremost, just excited to get a win after what I know has been a difficult couple of weeks.
It has been. It's so nice to be back at home. We were gone for over 2 weeks, and it's nice to win, and I'm just really happy for all the players. Right after the game, I talked to them and just told them how proud I was of them, of not just the game, the energy and the effort, but also their preparation, attention to detail leading up to this game. And Georgia Tech is such a good basketball team, and they do different stuff on both ends of the floor, so you have to be well prepared, and they were. And I'm just really happy for them. The greatest joy for me as a coach is to see them happy, see them joyful, see them have smiles on their faces. And it's been a couple weeks since they've had that, and so it's good to see them smile.
In addition to winning the game, of course, goal number one, it just seemed like you guys played more like the team that it feels like you want your team to be. You rebounded, you ran, you distributed the basketball, just felt like more like the team you want.
That's interesting, because at halftime, I came into the coach's locker room, I looked at all the staff, and I said, that last 3 minutes, for the first time, I feel like all year, looked like Carolina basketball. We were getting stops, we were running, we were getting layups, we were getting dunks and threes. We were making the extra pass, that play where RJ was wide open, but it was good to great. We talked about we're making passes, but we're not making the extra pass, and he makes that pass to Pete in the corner for a three. That stretch, I said, now this is what I want to see. This is what Carolina basketball looks like. And in the second half, I felt like we sustained that, and we played really well on both ends of the floor.
A lot of guys played well, but R.J. Davis and Armando Bacot, Coach, both those guys with double-doubles, both with more than 20 points and 10 rebounds. What did you like about what both those gentlemen did today?
Well, Armando's not 100%, and he wanted to play. And you could see the impact that he has on both ends of the floor. But, we made an effort to throw him the ball down low in the post. The last couple of days of practice, that's something that we emphasize. Number one, offensively, is we got to get points in the paint, and our number one way to get it is get the ball to Armando. And so whether it's in transition or a half-court set, we're throwing the ball down to him, and he was fantastic running the floor. RJ, I thought, had his best game this season, not just shooting the basketball, but being active, rebounding the basketball, and also distributing. I thought he had a really good understanding today of when to pass and when to shoot, and I'm just really happy for him. And then Jalen Washington got to get into the game, and it's been 2 years since he's played. And he's worked extremely hard to put himself in a position to be ready to play. And I'm so glad we're able to get him in the game. And they splash water on him saying he has a career high, which is 2 points. But I can tell you this, that won't be his career high very long. He's one of the most talented basketball players I've ever been around.
Coach, just two more things. You had a combined 7 fast break points the last 2 games. You had 17 today. What allowed your team to get out and run more like you want?
Well, we talked about it in practice. You know, the other times we were, and this is the thing I'm talking about, like learning about your team and just tweaks and pivots and alters. Like last year when we ran in transition where we were really good, it was really good setting those drag screens, those screens in transition, and we still do that. But, you know, we just made a little change, and we said, look, our 5 men, just run as fast as you can to the front of the rim. Let's stay at our spots and to give us spacing. And if we could pitch ahead for a 3, we can drive to the basket. But let's look for a quick post up. They can't double team Armando in transition. And I think it really opened up everything, and it gave everybody a place to run because they thought they might get the ball. So the wings are running, I might get the ball so I can shoot. Mondo was running, I might get the ball, I can post up. And then RJ and Caleb and Seth did a good job pushing the ball up the floor and getting us to those spots where we could be effective on the offensive end.
Last thing you mentioned, Seth, I was going to ask you about him. It just felt, I know he was just 1 of 5 shooting, but it just felt like he came in and gave you really good minutes off the bench tonight.
He did. You know, it's just his defense. He's just an elite defender. He's got tremendous athleticism, and so he can guard a number of different positions. And then on the offensive end, I've said before, I think he's the fastest, or one of the fastest guys I've seen with the ball. I want him to attack more. I just don't think they can guard him. But his ability to be able to get to the basket and defend really helps us out there. And I just feel comfortable and in love when he's out there on the floor.
Guys, we can confirm it feels better to win the game than
See, I think I learned a lot of lessons winning too. Everyone, you got to learn lessons when you lose. I think you can learn lessons both ways, and my preference is to learn through winning.
That's what the Tar Heels did today, guys, topping Georgia Tech by 16. Coach, congratulations, and look forward to talking with you again soon.
All right, thanks a lot, Jones. I appreciate it.
That's Hubert Davis, guys, in the Continental Tire Coach's Corner.
Alongside Armando Bacot, outside the Carolina locker room, Armando, another double-double, another double-digit rebound game. You're a guy who appreciates history. That now ties you for the most double-digit rebound games in school history. What does that feel like?
I mean, that really just showed me I've just been here for a long time, really. I mean, 61, dang. Think about playing that many games and then having double-doubles in that many games. That's just crazy.
That is crazy. And it was crazy the difference that you appeared to make back on the court. Of course, we missed you up in Blacksburg. What difference did it feel like there was with you out there with both the Carolina offense and really the defense too?
Yeah, well, I mean, just watching the game versus Virginia Tech, I got to see some of the opportunities that I had, and I noticed that I just wasn't being as aggressive specifically on the offense end, just looking for my shot and really just trying to enforce my will down there. And, I mean, I took 16 shots today, and I'm pretty sure that's the most I took all year. And I mean, I only shot 50%, but I think just me just being that aggressive, that'll definitely help the team out and something we need.
How does your shoulder feel?
During the game, it felt pretty good, but I mean, I know tonight later, I'm definitely going to feel it.
Tar Heels just dominate the glass against a Georgia Tech team that doesn't have a ton in the paint, but Carolina have been out-rebounded the last 3 games. What was the difference on the glass other than just Armando Bacot played?
Well, I think we just did a good job of just all of us crashing the glass. I mean, you saw in practice this week, we did a lot of running if you did not go to the glass, specifically 3, 4, and 5. So I thought that was really helpful, and really it's just something we need to build on, not take a deep breath, and we just got to keep it up.
The ball movement looked a lot better. Why was that, and what difference does that make?
Well, we put an emphasis on that too, going from a good shot to a great shot. And I mean, you look at that play where RJ threw it over top. I caught it under the basket. I probably could have shot a contested layup, but I kicked it out to RJ. He pump fake, drove, and then kicked it back out to Pete. And I mean, we got an amazing shot off of that. And that's just really the highlight of the game. It really shows you, like, we move the ball. I mean, we can be an exciting team.
That was a first half play, but it sticks out enough to you that you just went through it exactly as it happened. Why did that moment feel so significant? Because it really did.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was Carolina basketball. Everybody getting everybody involved, pointing to the passer and the crowd getting into it. So it was great.
Big roar in the locker room just then for Jalen Washington, who you have seen working every day in practice since he's been here. What's it like for you to get to see a young guy like that finally get to get some action and get a bucket?
It's great. He's been working hard, and, I mean, in practice he's been doing great, and we've really just been waiting for him to be comfortable, the coaches and the trainers all to be comfortable to put him in. And, I mean, with just his size and length, and you see the little mid-range jump shot, turnaround he hit, I mean, that could be huge for us, and it's something we need, just more scoring off the bench, specifically from the big man position, is great. And, I mean, he's going to be an amazing player here.
Already an amazing player here, Armando Bacot, and as he said, that was Carolina basketball. Tar Heels beat Georgia Tech. Armando, thank you.
So Carolina breaks that long streak of lack of success as they now 6-4 on the season and 1-1 in conference play. Adam Tar Heels back at home on Tuesday against the Citadel, and then the first of really key neutral site games against Power 5 teams, non-conference. It starts with Ohio State, that's Saturday in New York City, then Michigan after that in Charlotte, all coming before Christmas. These three games, Citadel at home, then Ohio State, Michigan, really important contest, it feels like, for Carolina to continue to play well, because then it's nothing but ACC after that.
And really determines how you're going to feel going into that big chunk of ACC play, because if Carolina could get on a little roll here and not just win these three games, but play the same way they did today, looking like Carolina basketball, I think you feel pretty good about going into the ACC, where certainly the rest of the league has been tremendously up and some down. And so you feel like you got a chance to compete there. But most importantly, just do this consistently. It's one thing to play this way after you heard from Hubert Davis all week in practice. The other teams are punking you. That's what he kept telling the Tar Heels. And so that was the charge today. Don't let Georgia Tech punk you. And Carolina didn't. And now the test is do it consistently.
Don't get punked. The easy answer on the basketball court for sure. Something Adam doesn't know much about. He gets punked all the time when he's trying to deal with me. So yeah, there's Adam. Look, he's the one who gets punked. Yeah, that one shot of Adam, you can see that. So it is Hubert Davis Live. We are at Top of the Hill Monday night, 7 o'clock. Then Carolina in the Smith Center against the Citadel. That is 7 o'clock on Tuesday. We'll be on the air at 6 p.m. for that one, and we will have a rapid reactions after that matchup to get you set for the weekend against Ohio State as well. But happy days here again, at least for the weekend, right? Tar Heels beat Georgia Tech 75-59, the final. Thanks for joining us here on a Rapid Reactions edition of the Carolina Insider.